Hey fellas, how you doing? I wanted to make this video. Now, a video came up yesterday on YouTube, and I can't remember the person's YouTube name, but the title was interesting. It was something about how to attract a very beautiful woman, and it was actually by a woman. Now, if you know me quite well, I'm not one for judging people and going on people's channels and saying stuff and being negative. That's not who I am. I don't like to do that. When people put negative stuff on my channel, I don't even respond to it. I'm just too positive, I haven't got time. But I have to be honest, it's nothing personal with this woman. She seems lovely, obviously she's trying to help people. But the video did bring something up in me. It did make me feel, it made me feel angry. It made me feel angry because it wasn't honest. It wasn't honest, and 90% of the dating advice that you see online, it's just not congruent. It's just not being honest with people. And it's all good and well selling stuff. There's nothing wrong with selling stuff. I run a business myself. But it's just, people are just not telling the truth. I mean, the advice was something along the lines of, if you do these 5 things, basically if you use tricks, the woman is going to be attracted to you because you're not going to do things that most men do. And I just thought, okay, there is an element of truth in what the woman was saying. There is an element of truth, but it isn't true. And I'm just going to unload and explain what I mean. For a start, it's too surface based. So let me give you an example. So I'm struggling to explain this. So let's say, for example, I've been speaking to women for 11 years, right? And I started off with someone who had chronic social anxiety, low self-esteem. I didn't have a clue who I was nervous, I was shy. I didn't know what to say to women, I was desperate, I was needy. And after obviously 11 years of experience, and even, but it didn't take me 11 years, but this is including me teaching other men for 4 years. I mean, I came to the truth that I always knew when I first got into meeting women and getting better people was, confidence is what attracts women. It's just obvious, confidence attracts women, and the same way, I mean, I think the problem is in the dating industry with most teaching is people break down into minute detail the behaviours of a confident man, and then they go and try and teach that to other people. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in a way where you don't like yourself when you do that, and I've tried that way, and I've also taught that way myself, so I'm a hypocrite at this moment in time. But this is what truth is about. Truth is about consistently growing. So if you was to get the national TV or whoever TV station and film me on a first date with a woman, I would just be myself. I'd use my social skills, I would use my natural intuition and all the years of experience I've got. I could completely fuck up. You might see me fall to pieces. You might see me make mistakes, because I'm human, and some women intimidate me, depends how I feel. But most days, if I'm my best self and I'm honest, the chances are I'm gonna attract the woman because of my experience. I'm quite confident in myself. I've got a quite clear understanding of who I am, and I'm very sensitive of women. But if you was to break down everything I did and try and teach it to another man who's not confident, it's not going to work for him. I'll tell you why it's not going to work, because he's not me and I'm not him. So the advice that the woman was given, and the advice that a lot of other men give in the dating industry, is too surface based, and it lacks integrity. It lacks the real core foundations of what it is, how attraction works, and it misses out on the areas like, we attract what we are. So if you use techniques, if you use tricks and behaviours, you're going to attract a dishonest woman. You're actually going to create, on a date, you're going to create dishonesty. So I just think it's just, and some of the advice was really poor. The woman said, never compliment beautiful women. That's just nonsense. That's absolute rubbish. I always compliment women, and it's always worked for me. Don't care how beautiful they are. If it comes from an honest place, and it comes from a loving place, and you really mean what you say, it will be received that way. To say to men you shouldn't compliment attractive women because you're going to lose value. It's crap, it's rubbish, it's absolute rubbish. I've got so much experience and success with actually attracting women and dating attractive women and teaching other men. That's not true. That's like me saying, I'm not going to compliment my friends, I'm not going to compliment my mum, my dad, because they may abandon me, I might lose value. But there's no self-esteem. If there are restrictions in the amount of love that you're giving out to people, that means you're insecure. You're basically using a method and a set of, you're using manipulation to hide the fact that you really aren't confident. So it comes back to confidence and self-esteem, but I think most of the confidence that's being taught in the dating industry and advice like this, it's not making people confident, it's actually making them more insecure. So my method, it's not even a method, is you actually have to be yourself and you have to actually make mistakes. You can't really hide it because people can sense it, obviously depending on the level of intelligence and consciousness that people are actually at. I just think it's the worst advice you could give someone. I think it's terrible advice to also give. I've seen advice where advice has been given to women on how to attract men, and it's just terrible, and I just think that would never work on me because I'm just I would just see through it. I understand that when people start, it is difficult. It was hard for me, and of course you have to learn have a conversation. But all these things most of them are intuitive. It's actually, you need to practice putting yourself in these situations until you actually grow courage and confidence and you shape your identity without a structure, without techniques. It's actually the techniques that make you lose your personality. And that's so much ostentation, and that's not just in the dating industry, that's in the personal development. There's just so much unnecessary that you do things to make someone like. It's people pleasing. It's like me coming on a video now on YouTube and saying things for the sake of trying to make people like me or trying to make people, it just doesn't make sense. But I understand why people do it, because it's actually teaching fear. I mean, I'm a very deep person, but at the heart of everyone, women are attracted to a man who loves himself. They want a man who loves who he is and can transmit that love over to her. And there's a lot of nonsense about, you have to be good looking. You don't have to be good looking to attract beautiful women. I was attracting beautiful women, I was on benefits and I was dressed really bad and I looked pretty shabby, my hairstyle isn't great now, but I attracted them because of my personality, because it shined through. And I'll keep saying it again, it's not what you say, it's how you feel about what you say and where does it come from. Now, to contradict what I said, yes, if you use pick-up lines and you use strategies, that can actually get you women. But what kind of relationships it's going to build you? What kind of relationship you're going to have with yourself? You're going to self-betrayal. So you're going to use techniques, wear a mask, you're going to attract a woman, you're going to have sex with her, and you're going to do everything to please her. And this is the same for women. If you give women techniques to manipulate men, and of course lots of women do it because they're being taught to do this in society. Keep your man waiting, don't give him what he wants, all this nonsense, it's just separating people. You shouldn't be using tricks on one another, we should actually be working on building self-esteem from a place of integrity and actual practicing. And this is not, I didn't just read this, or just 11 years experience, and go on my YouTube channel and see the amount of old infield videos. And this came about through struggling. This came out from me actually trying techniques and then they didn't work. They certainly didn't work in the right way. So it's actually, the advice the woman's giving is going to make men worse, make men hate themselves. It's the worst advice I've ever heard, to tell men that don't compliment women because every man does it. Well, I don't care if 1,000 men compliment a woman. If I like her and I want to tell her she's nice, I'm going to tell her. It's never failed me. As a matter of fact, I remember getting a lot of criticism from just people that followed me, and they said to me, I've watched your videos and you over-compliment women. Yeah, I love complimenting women, of course I do. Because I've got unconditional love. I don't want anything back, because it selfishly makes me feel good. I went out yesterday, right, and I was just going out doing my daily habits. Daily habits didn't make sense. I'm getting passionate. I can't even speak now. And I just started complimenting women because it felt good. I complimented 20 women. Do you know, every single woman responded well to me, because I actually told the truth. I was honest. And there wasn't any fucking techniques. I wasn't using tricks. I wasn't not complimenting attractive women because I wanted them to think I'm different. I was myself, and it worked. And they're all beautiful, and they all responded well because I understand this law. I understand this law, and this law is, I'm just putting names on it. It's the law of attraction. We could say it's the law of God. It's being confident in who you really are. So of course, to get to that place, we have to start with not being confident with who we are. Same way I got good at speaking on YouTube videos. I didn't use techniques. People tried to give me that. It's fucking nonsense. I'm not going to use that because people are going to meet me when you work. They're going to see, well, he's not the same person, and I'm not going to feel good doing it. If you go back to my old videos, you'll see I was quite anxious, but where I was, I told the truth of what I had at that time, and then I grew through experience. I got more comfortable on camera. Now it's just like the same person on the camera, off the camera. So we can't just break down something that is heartfelt and spiritual and emotional into a system. That's what people try to do. They're trying to break down things into a system so they can sell. But systems don't sell. Principles do. And honesty and integrity. So I would just contradict all that advice. And it's not just this woman. I'm not attacking her personally because she's a lovely person, and I don't know everything. I'm still learning too. But I'm just saying that stereotype of advice is destroying men, and it's destroying women, both parties. And there's been loads of other people I've seen. I'm not going to mention their names. And it annoys me because when I came in to learn, I wanted actually the truth of what worked, and not too many people were brave enough to say it because they didn't even have it themselves. They didn't even believe in what they were teaching. This is coming from my experience. And I'm very good with women. I'm very good at attracting women. I'm still working on getting better in long-term relationships because I'm not great at that. Now I'm good because I've had to work on it. So I'm honest about where I'm at. But I understand female attraction, I understand psychology, and I understand about manipulation because I used to do that and I used to teach that, and I realised this is not good, it's not good for people. And I was actually surprised. So I would say, if men want to get more confident women, stop watching pornography. My advice is completely different. Stop watching porn, right? Work on stop judging people. It's your whole life. When you sit with an attractive woman, or if an attractive woman sits with an attractive man, or if you sit with people, who you are shows up. What you do behind the scenes will show up in your presence. So presence is what attracts women. And this is going to sound arrogant, and I always feel arrogant when I say it, but it's the truth. I've went on dates with women, right? And in the first 30 seconds of sitting down, they was attracted to me, I was attracted to them. Because that's confidence, that's coming from a lot of experience and a lot of practice, and that's feeling good in myself. Now, aside of that, I've been on dates and sat with women, and I knew that they didn't like me. It didn't matter what I said, we're just not suited for each other. I'm not going to blame myself for that. So they don't really speak, a lot of dating advice doesn't speak about chemistry. No matter how confident you are, some people are just not going to be right for you. But people don't want to say that because they want to say that their products are 100% fail-proof. And it's just not true. It's not giving people the truth. It's actually lying. So women are looking for congruence. Now, as I've said before, we do attract what we are. So if you play these games, and this is for, because I know men and women watch my stuff, if you're a woman and you play games with men, you will attract a dishonest man. Because my old self was dishonest. And I always was cheating on women, they were cheating on me. But when I changed, I didn't attract dishonest women. So I just think most of the mainstream dating advice that has been given out by men and women is just terrible. It's just nonsense, and it's just ruining people's relationships. And it's going to cause you things like social anxiety, paranoia. But there's also some good advice out there, but it's few and far. It's very hard to find it. You can't break things down into a system. You can't break my personality down and go and model yourself on me. It's not going to work. When I met my first mentor, Floyd, as much as I was inspired, I couldn't be Floyd. I couldn't be Floyd because he's a different person, different personality. He's more confident than me, and that's just who he was naturally. But I got inspired by him, and I could get inspired by the principles, but I had to come from me. I had to find out who I was and work from that place. And when I did, attraction was easy, attracting women. And funny enough, and I really mean this, and I don't like archetyping and labelling this woman is better than this woman, I've never been keen on that. But I found that the really attractive women were even more easier for me to attract because of obviously my conditioning of what I've been fed, which is nonsense. It made me be on a better game, and I don't mean game as in tricks. It made me show up even better because I became more aware. Okay, she's attractive. She's going to expect me to fall apart and be nervous and drop the tea all over the table and start people pleasing. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to speak to her the same way that I speak to anyone else. I'm going to treat her the same, and that's powerful. That's congruence, and that's a Christ principle. That's something that Jesus taught. The way you treat the least is the way you treat everyone. These powerful principles are not being quoted throughout history for no reason. They come from powerful truths that are true, and we know this deep down. We already know. We know what works. I always knew what worked, but I didn't have the courage. I had to build it. But it's contradictory to what I said. It will be good for people to follow advice like that, because in doing that, you'll eventually come to the truth that I come to. You've got to come from this place of loving yourself and loving people. And I know for myself, when I started, most men are in a mindset of hating women. And it's not because deep down they hate women. That's not who they truly are. It's because they're insecure, and they've been taught that through the media. They've been taught that when they go out to nightclubs. They've had some bad experiences when they're younger, and they've taken on these beliefs. And these methods just keep fueling that. It actually builds a false self. That's what most of pickup artistry is about. Most of the dating industry advice is teaching you the opposite of what you want. So it's about feeling good in who you are. So as I said, it's about your integrity, your fashion, your lifestyle. And there's no right thing to say. I've been on dates with attractive women and I've not even said anything spectacular. Nothing spectacular. My conversation skills, if I'm being honest, are pretty mundane and pretty boring. But the energy I bring is powerful, because I bring love. Women want to feel love. And it's not soft, and you cannot use a method to inhibit or showcase love. Love is, you can't fake it. So if you don't love yourself, it will be felt, which is good, because you can work on loving yourself, but you can do that through actually practicing integrity and honesty, which is a very fast way to build self-esteem. But as I said, everyone is on their own journey. But I work with a lot of men, and I get women writing to me, and it really comes down to when men struggle to be confident around attractive women, and vice versa, when women struggle to be confident with men, it's a lack of self-love. So we come back to the self, like I said in the other video. Very few advice out there. Most of the advice, actually, you'd have to go into the spiritual world, and they're not even directly saying, like Eckhart Tolle is not saying this is how you get good with women, but he's saying this is how you get good with women, because he's teaching you the most profound human truth that Jesus taught, which is to develop your presence through self-observation and identifying who you are, and that is what attracts women. Because they feel your presence. As soon as you meet someone, they get a sense of you. I knew it when I was a kid, and you know it as well. And do you know what taught me this? Social anxiety disorder, being terrified of people. And there's no method that you can use to hide that anxiety, because people can see it. So I had to be honest and say, I am nervous. I had to lose credit for that. I didn't lose credit for that because most women found it attractive. I got the confidence to actually show who he is. And the best skill that I've learned as a man is to make people feel comfortable to show who they are. They never say this in the dating industry or the advice, because they're too scared to say it. It's about women want a man to make them feel comfortable in who they are and not judged. And we all want that, and that's what a man wants. That's how connection is formed between two people. When I make you feel special, and I make you feel that you can be yourself around me. I'm not going to judge you. You can show your faults, you can show your strengths, and you do the same to me. Bang, we have a connection. That is attraction. And that you can't stereotype that or archetype that or break that down. You cannot. Because I could actually go away, work on this whole formula, charge hundreds of pounds for it. But I'm not going to do that because it's not the truth, and break down this. But I'm doing it now. I'm giving you a philosophy that you can go away and practice using values and integrity which will actually shape you into the person that you want to become, the man or woman. So my method is no method. I remember speaking to Jeff, my mentor, and I was talking to him, and he was saying to me that, you know, the day game did a lot for you. And I said, yeah, I did learn a lot from the day game, even though it wasn't fully honest, it wasn't congruent, the integrity wasn't, there was not much integrity. But it taught me no method, raw, no method, fuck the method, no method. No method, no tricks, no tricks at all when you meet people, no tricks, no method. This is who I am, I want to get to know you. Go on to my older YouTube videos, even when I wasn't in the best place in my life, but watch the method on the street, how I speak to women, no method. Watch how nervous I am, watch the confidence and the nervousness, and watch it all work, because there's no tricks, it's just transparency. So that's how I'm talking to you now. Is there a method? I'm present, I'm just letting it flow. And you don't have to be perfect. We create this illusion in our society that attractive women are like cyborgs, they're unattainable. It's not true, it's fucking nonsense. I've dated lots of them, they're human beings with feelings and insecurities. Sometimes women that are less attractive are more hard to get. It's just nonsense. These truths need further examining. If you create these perceptions and you believe in them, you actually create that as a reality. And the most thing that people don't speak about in dating advice is the fear. You have to get better at controlling fear. Of course, and still sometimes now, after 11 years experience and a lot of success with women, if I go on a date with any new person, I'm going to feel a bit nervous. I'm going to feel nervous for a number of reasons. One is because I've got a YouTube presence, people know me, I've been established as a teacher, so it puts my ego feeds, it comes up, but I've learned to manage it and get myself relaxed and be who I am. So this is my dating advice, this is raw, this is coming from actual experience, and this has consistently got me success with women. And there's not a method. Because when I think about it, if I've got to use a method to attract women, where does that leave me? Where am I in this? So I'm basically turning up on the date and I'm saying, let me show you something. Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, I'm Johnny. Okay, here's my method. I've got the book. So let's resort back to the method. Let's use tricks on this woman to get her to like me. Because who I am as a person doesn't mean anything, and my values and my family values and my heart and what I bring. So let me try the method. So let me ask you something, Sarah. How long have you been doing dancing for? See the personality change, my voice change, it's not who I am. Do I really want to say that? So when I go on a date with a woman, I don't plan what I'm going to say. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to say, because I've never met her before. And if I'm planning what I'm going to say, I'm not coming from the right place. So I'm actually going to improvise. I'm going to improvise from a place of intuition and from an honest place. And within that improvisation, things will come up that we both don't know we're going to say, and we'll build from that. We'll do it naturally. This is the advice that should be given. But this doesn't sell well today, because people want a method. They want to believe that step by step. It's not fucking step by step. It's actually go out and practice being who you are and suffer and struggle until you get there. And that will be as quick as you practice and the work that you do in your life. Because getting good with women is getting good with yourself. Getting good with women is getting good with life. It's being good with people. I struggled with women for many years because I was afraid of people. So I had to actually unlearn all the methods that I'd been taught. But the great thing about being around someone like Floyd was he didn't use a method, it was raw, it was honest. The same person that I sat with was the same person that spoke to women, so it was congruence. So when I went off and learned some pickup artistry, it wasn't congruent. The pickup artistry stuff is not congruent. You're not yourself, you use tricks. So I practiced that for a while, and I learned the essence from pickup artistry. The essence was, if you don't want people to cheat on you, you don't want to attract people with personality disorders, you better stop doing it. So I had to do pickup artistry as I need to stop doing this. And I went back to myself and I built off where I first started with Floyd, with being my natural, quite shy. I've always been naturally quite an awkward person socially. I'm still a bit awkward. I'm just very confident with my awkwardness, and it works for me. So we have to actually become confident with who we are. And I've said before, if we're not confident with who we are, then we have to practice being who we are. And the only way to practice being who we are is to put ourselves into situations that put pressure on us and bring up our sub-personalities and get good at not identifying with sub-personalities. So it's presence, it's confidence, and it's the confidence to not care what the woman thinks about you respectfully, and for the woman to not care about what the man thinks. Otherwise we're just playing games, playing chess.